This is Optimal Startup Daily, episode 184, The Complicated but Beautiful Process of Finding Your Calling, by Jeff Goins of GoinsWriter.com. And hi again, welcome to Optimal Startup Daily. I'm Dan, your host and narrator, and I'm here every single day reading to you from some of the best blogs on entrepreneurship. If you've got any topic requests for us for future shows, please do share those. You can come by oldpodcast.com with your ideas. That's oldpodcast.com. And now let's get right to today's post and start optimizing your life. The Complicated but Beautiful Process of Finding Your Calling, by Jeff Goins of GoinsWriter.com. My last day of working a day job also happened to be my 30th birthday, which made it a milestone in many ways. The truth, though, is the day itself, as climactic as it was less significant than the process it took to get there. How I came closer to my calling. For years, I wanted to write. I kept a blog and wrote for magazines, but never took it too seriously. When Ashley and I decided to have a baby, all that changed. We couldn't live off just my income, and she wanted to stay home to be a mom, so I became determined to make that happen. For 2 years, I stayed up late and got up early, squeezing in a few extra minutes of writing whenever I could. I didn't quite know what I was doing, or even how I would do it, but I just kept writing and sharing my work and trying to grow an audience. I knew that if I could get people to pay attention to my work, I'd find a way to make a living off my words. Then, after 18 months of hustle, a few opportunities emerged. Over the course of 6 months, I launched 2 books, one self-published and another traditionally published, started speaking at conferences, and released an online course. By the end of the year, we tripled our income. I was so focused on the goal of replacing Ashley's income that I wasn't paying attention to how much momentum was building. It took a wake-up call from a friend for me to realize what was really happening. My wake-up call. What's happened to you is rare, my friend Mark said to me one day while we were discussing whether or not I should quit my job. Nobody saw it coming. I know you, Jeff, and I didn't see it coming. You have to consider the possibility that if you don't do this, it might be an act of disobedience to God. After that conversation, I stopped thinking of this as an opportunity or even a dream and replaced it with a much weightier word, calling. And a month later, I met with my boss to tell him what I'd been working through. I said I was afraid of disappointing him. Jeff, he said, smiling, I'm not disappointed. I'm proud. The truth is, I've been waiting for this conversation. I think it's time. So, on March 31st, I worked my last day at the only real job I ever had, turned 30, and began my career as a professional writer. But that's not the whole story. This is the story I tell when people ask me how I got here, but there's so much more to it. Like the 7 years of learning about marketing and business while working at a nonprofit, or the unintentional practice I got in college as a writing tutor, or how my mom used to read me the dictionary on long road trips. The experience of finding your calling is both mysterious and practical. It takes effort, but also seems to happen to you at times. What I've come to understand is that finding your purpose is more of a path than a plan. It involves unexpected twists and turns that at times look like accidents, but actually are a part of the process. Everyone, I think, is searching for a purpose, for something to satisfy their deepest desires. I believe that something is a calling. What does that mean? To me, a calling means the reason you were born. It's that thing you were meant to do. And finding it is never as simple or as easy as we'd like it to be. What I learned. When I began working on my new book, The Art of Work, I thought I knew what the process of finding your calling looked like, but what I learned surprised me. Discovering your life's purpose, it turns out, isn't quite so simple. The journey looks different for everyone, but there are also common themes that tend to appear. So I had a thought. What if what happened to me wasn't so rare? What if everyone has a calling? So for a year and a half, I've been trying to answer that question. And after interviewing hundreds of people, reading tons of biographies, and reflecting more honestly on my own story, here's what I've learned. You can't do this on your own. You need help. Mark was one of many guides who helped me understand my life and what to do with it. You'll have to practice. It won't be easy. If you want to discover your life's work, you'll have to fight for it. And you won't just know. Discovery happens in stages, and clarity will come with action. The most important thing you can do is take the next step. In the book, I feature stories of everyday people whose names you probably won't recognize, and that was intentional. I wanted to communicate that calling is not something for chosen ones, but for everyone. And in these seemingly ordinary stories, I think we understand our own lives a little better. At times, I think we all feel like our own stories are a little too ordinary for our liking. But what if in that ordinariness there was something extraordinary we could tap into? That's the idea of the book. You just listened to the post titled The Complicated but Beautiful Process of Finding Your Calling by Jeff Goins of GoinsWriter.com. And I'm going to tell you more about Jeff in just a minute, but first, a big thank you to NordVPN for supporting Optimal Startup Daily. Your online data is valuable, and more companies, even people, are trying to get their hands on it. A VPN service provides you a secure, encrypted tunnel for online traffic to flow, so no one can get their hands on your internet data. Perfect if you're looking for peace of mind when using public Wi-Fi, like when in an airport or a coffee shop, or when accessing personal and work accounts on the road. And NordVPN is here to save the day, now serving more than 14 million people worldwide. It's compatible with most operating systems, including Windows, Mac OS, iOS, Android, and more, and they give you unlimited bandwidth with double data encryption for increased anonymity and no data logging. NordVPN has super fast servers, over 5,200 in 59 countries, plus 24/7 customer support through live chat and email. All that with a 30-day money-back guarantee. And for NordVPN's birthday, every purchase of a 2-year plan will get you 1 additional month free and a surprise gift. So go to nordvpn.com/OSD and use code OSD. That's nordvpn.com/OSD and code OSD. And thanks to Jeff for giving us permission to narrate from his blog today. He is a full-time writer who lives just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. He's the best-selling author of 5 books, including The Art of Work, which you heard about in today's post, as well as Real Artists Don't Starve. Now, Jeff believes that we all have a creative gift worth sharing with the world. So whether you have a business idea, a book in you, or some other project you want to start, Jeff's goal is to help you get that work out of you and into the world. His website has been visited by more than 4 million people from all over the world, and he's a great writer, so definitely check out his books and his blog. And a fun fact about him, he humbly considers himself the world's foremost expert on guacamole. So come by GoinsWriter.com for a lot more. Again, that's GoinsWriter.com. And that's going to do it for today here on Optimal Startup Daily. Hope your weekend gets off to a great start, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow for the Saturday show, where your optimal life awaits.